Imagine this, a fish that was born in the same year your parents got married, grew up in a lake, and then, 18 years later, was caught by a fisherman who had no idea he was reeling in a living fossil. That's exactly what happened with this paddlefish in North Dakota, and it's a story that's way more fascinating than you might think. Let me tell you why this isn't just some weird fish fact, it's a window into how we understand wildlife, conservation, and even our own relationship with nature. So here's the thing, when biologists tagged this fish back in 2007, they probably didn't expect it to still be around in 2025. But here it is, growing from 87 to 98 pounds, surviving decades of river currents, fishing pressure, and whatever else nature throws at it. That's not just impressive, it's a reminder of how resilient these creatures can be. And yet, how often do we take for granted that the fish we're catching today might be the same ones that were there 10, 20, even 30 years ago? Let's break this down. First, the tagging program itself. You know how when you go to a park, they sometimes tag birds or turtles to track their movements. This is the same idea, but with a fish that's basically a prehistoric creature. The fact that this paddlefish was used as a brood fish, meaning they took its eggs to breed more fish, shows how these programs aren't just about tracking individuals. They're about ensuring populations survive. But here's where it gets wild, this fish wasn't just a data point. It became a symbol of how long-lived and adaptable these animals are. Now, think about the biology of paddlefish for a second. These things have been around since the age of dinosaurs, right? Their long snouts are basically built-in plankton detectors, and they filter food like underwater vacuum cleaners. But the real kicker? They don't spawn every year. They wait for the perfect conditions, like a specific water temperature or river flow, and then reproduce once every 2 or 3 years. That means this fish could have been waiting 18 years to lay eggs again. And yet, it survived. That's not just a survival story, it's a lesson in patience. What makes this really interesting to me is how this single fish's journey highlights the importance of habitat preservation. Lake Sakakawea and the connected rivers are critical for paddlefish, but they're also under threat from human activity. If these ecosystems degrade, species like this could vanish in a generation. And yet, here's proof that when we protect these spaces, even ancient species can thrive. It's a reminder that conservation isn't just about saving endangered animals, it's about safeguarding the environments that make them possible. But let's get personal for a moment. I've fished before, and I've caught fish that were probably older than I am. But I've never thought about whether that fish had been around since the 90s or 80s. This story makes me wonder how many other tagged fish are out there, silently swimming through rivers, waiting to be caught by someone who might never know their history. It's almost poetic, isn't it? A fish that's been part of a scientific study, a fishery program, and now a fishing story, all in one lifetime. And here's the deeper question, what does this say about us? We tag animals, study them, and sometimes forget that they're not just data points. They're living, breathing creatures with lifespans that dwarf our own. This paddlefish's journey isn't just about science, it's about connection. It's about how we, as humans, can learn from these ancient beings if we're willing to listen. So next time you're out fishing or just thinking about the natural world, remember, the fish you catch might have a story older than you can imagine. And maybe, just maybe, it's worth paying attention to.